who's also a friend of mine, and I know him since more than 20 years. Dr. Rita Khadkikar, who's the IQAC coordinator at MGM IHS in Mumbai. Prerna Darvi called me and said, "You have to come for this function where people from health sciences, especially from physiotherapy and nursing, are going to attend this conference on NEP 2020. I told I am not from this field and therefore I will be odd man out for this conference. But then she insisted, and then I could not say no for the love of coming to this campus. And therefore I am in front of you. The world is changing so fast. And if the world is changing so fast, then we have no alternative than addressing these changes and trying to solve the problems which society and humanities is facing. And therefore, there were debates and discussions for more than 20 years that how do we address those challenges. And finally, a day came when these discussions started happening formally by appointing a committee to frame a new education policy for this nation. The new education policy of any country has a direct bearing on the developmental issues which that nation is facing. And therefore, when we look at any new education policy, we need to understand that there is a direct relationship between the education and development. I am not using the word growth, but I am using the word development. And therefore, the national education policy which is created is from that angle. And whatever you do or whatever you understand, you need to understand any policy from that perspective, the perspective of development of that nation and development of the people of that nation. And therefore, when I read, and when you also read, you might have heard several times about the new education policy. And therefore, in a short period of time, I would like to tell you what are the principles. You may read the entire policy, and if you don't understand the principles behind it, then you will not be able to do anything and you will not be able to achieve what you want to achieve or what the national education policy would want to achieve. Though the health sciences education and legal education is not part of new education policy 2020 except one paragraph where they have mentioned about these health sciences and agriculture sciences. One paragraph. But that one paragraph is not going to give you the direction in which the health sciences, I am talking about this document. There are several things which are happening in health sciences also. Several discussions, debate, which they talked in National Health Policy 2017. And several discussions are happening in this nation about what needs to be done in health sciences. So what is the relationship between that? What kind of principles of national education policy which can be utilized and used in the health sciences education that needs to be understood? If we need to understand that, and then we need to understand the principles, and therefore I would like to put before you some of the things which national education policy is talking about. So, they have divided the entire education into numbers. I don't go into the numbers because we are talking about higher education, and higher education is beyond +2. Though there is a connection between the school education and the higher education, there has to be a connect between what is taught in the school and what is taught in higher education. Though it is a basic education which you get in the school education, but if there is no connection between the school education and the higher education, then the gap will be created and that gap will be widened. And therefore, when we are discussing about the higher education, we also need to understand the connection between that and this. And therefore, the content and the experiences which are created in the school education, especially between 8 to 12, as per the new education policy, we need to take into consideration whatever is happening between 8 to 12, there has to be a connection between that and the higher education, whether it is medical education, health sciences education, or agriculture education, or any other kind of education which we are talking about in the higher education system, in the university system. And therefore, what national education policy has done, I would like to tell you, is they talked about the previous policy, but I am not going to talk about the previous policy because I have my own biases towards some of the policies. Amongst all the policies, if you ask me a question, which policy I like the most, I like Kothari Commission's policy, which is talking about the holistic development, which Sri Aurobindo is also talking about the holistic development in his education system. Though times changes, and then we need to include something which is relevant to that particular century, even though the I say that Kothari Commissions is talking about the holistic development that is needed all the time. So what is the gist of this new education policy, if I have to tell you, for higher education is, number one, or for school education for that matter, what are the principles on which they have created a new education, national education policy 2020. Number one, they say, recognizing, identifying, and fostering the unique capabilities of each student. So what are they talking? They are talking about personalized education. This is nothing but the personalization of education. And this first principle, they are talking about personalized education. Each student, actually, they should not have used the word student, they should have used the word learner. Because now student doesn't exist, only the learner exists. Because I always say, when we are assessing, gone are the days when you are assessing of learning and assessing for learning. Now there is a new concept which we are talking in the world, which is assessment as learning. It is not of or for, but it is assessment as learning. What do you mean by that? When I was working in Commonwealth Secretariat for Youth Development in 2003 and 4, we created, means not me, but our organization created a Youth Development Index. And in that Youth Development Index, we were talking about, if we want to develop them, then we need to talk about personalized learning to every individual. And when we were talking about that, later people have started understanding every individual, and there we were using the concept of learner and the concept of assessment as learning in a way. What we used to say, what is the most important thing is empowerment. what curriculum you are teaching, if he is not empowered, even if he gets A grade or highest marks in his MBBS degree or nursing degree or physiotherapy degree, it is of no use because he is not empowered. And therefore, this document is talking about empowering every individual, every learner, because assessment as learning is nothing but empowering learner to take charge of their life, to take charge of their learning. And the whole education transformation process starts from empowering these young people. And therefore, the first principle is this. So when we read this first principle of recognizing, is nothing but empowering them. Second is, the highest priority has to be given for achieving foundational literacy at every level. When we hear the word literacy, we always say that reading and writing. No. If I talk about physiotherapy, and if I talk about sports medicine, and if I talk about the science of movement, if I am not aware of science of movement, and if I have been taught about that, then it is literacy for me. So literacy is at all levels, not only at that school level where the child is studying. Not reading and writing. We need to understand this literacy beyond. Say new and newer machines are coming. The technologies are coming. I call it as the tools. They are not everything. Whether AI comes or machine learning comes, they are nothing but the tools which will help the human being, maybe a doctor or whatever profession you are following, they will be useful to you. They are not going to take your jobs. New and newer jobs will be created. And I have the history of all that. I have seen in my life. People oppose technology, but then later, so they felt that the jobs will be over, but then new jobs are created. And new jobs will be created, and you will have to learn that skill. And therefore, the second principle you should understand from this principle. The third is flexibility. Since I am talking about the higher education institutions, physiotherapy, nursing, and health sciences, when they say literacy and numeracy, numeracy is also, chaos theory is used in medical sciences. Chaos theory is a highly mathematical subject. When you want to understand the rhythm of the heart and do a research on that, then you will understand how to find order in disorder. Finding order in disorder is nothing but the chaos theory. How do you do that? That is where the principle of new education policy is really useful. Third is flexibility. I am doing a physiotherapy, keeping in mind that I want to establish a business. Business you take in a positive term. I am not talking from a negative terminology. So suppose there is a village, and if in that village there is no facility which is available, but at the same time whatever I have invested in my education, I should get it back. Nothing wrong in that. If you are earning ethically, nothing wrong. And therefore, the national new education policy is talking about, can you tweak your curriculum towards this? If I want to have a startup of my own to create the instruments which are required for physiotherapy, can I learn some business analytics in that? Can I learn the principles of business in that? And if I come to you and then ask, can I do this along with your physiotherapy? I am ready to invest my time. That flexibility has to be given. And that is how one should learn what kind of flexibility we can bring into that. And then the next principle, which is very, very important, is there are no hard separations in today's world. The walls between the disciplines have disappeared. And if it is not disappearing in our institutions, then we are not going to achieve anything. And therefore, you need to break those walls. And this is the question which is asked to me all the time, that you are talking about interdisciplinarity, you are talking about multidisciplinarity, you are talking about transdisciplinarity, which the NEP 2020 talks about it. But there is one more thing, which is multiple discipline. Multiple disciplines and this, the document is talking about, are different things. Multiple disciplines having walls and multiple disciplines approach not having walls is NEP 2020 is talking about. We understand that no, this also has to be taught, that also. No, not at all. Interdisciplinarity means the use of the other discipline into your discipline. You need to understand from that perspective when you are teaching something in health sciences also, how can you bring other disciplines into it? Why can't two teachers go into the classroom and then teach of different disciplines? So that they will bring that into the classroom. That is what is expected. What is expected in new education policy is, how do we break the walls between different disciplines? They're not talking about multiple discipline. Multiple discipline institution you already have. For example, this university has multiple disciplines. But just if I have to give example of physics, physics have developed after Einstein more, after 1905, because they brought mathematics into physics, and you have seen the development of physics. If we understand this, what interdisciplinarity, multidisciplinarity and transdisciplinarity is, the question you have in your mind, how can we teach physics, how can we teach technology in our thing, that will disappear from your mind if you understand that from the right perspective. And therefore, no hard separation when they are talking. They are not talking about that you teach this, that, and several other things, but how do you bring that perspective into your own discipline? From that perspective, they are talking about multidisciplinarity and a holistic education across the sciences, social sciences. Say, narrative medicine. Narrative medicine is taught. So what does that mean? So narrative medicine is, you will observe in our country and many other countries. See, though many of them, now communication skills have been included since last, I think, 8 to 10 years, or maybe more than that, in our medical education. But what the narrative medicine is, can we bring that into our practice? Practitioners need this. We have a big number, but still, even one sentence changes the life of somebody. And that doctor, the practitioner, everybody doesn't become a doctor. Some people may become something even after doing MBBS. I have seen some of the examples. And therefore, from this angle, we need to understand new education policy. Of course, this new education policy 2020 is not going to be applicable to health sciences programs. They will have their own different policy. But the principles which national education policy is talking about is really useful to everybody. Then they're talking about emphasis on conceptual understanding. When they're saying conceptual understanding is always reflection based. If you are not reflecting every day in your laboratory or in your class, you are not learning. That is what the meaning of this. Reflective learning, and therefore that reflections needs to be written from interdisciplinarity and multidisciplinarity perspective. Because you never know what kind of problem you will be facing when you will receive your patients. Very, very different. Whatever problems and whatever researches which has been done, you may not have. And therefore, this approach is very, very important. Conceptual understanding. And conceptual understanding can come only through reflection. And reflections are personal. It cannot be in a group. And therefore, you see, how do we bring? Of course, you must be bringing, but still there is a scope. And always there will be room vacant. Next is creativity and critical thinking. You have a critical care unit in the medical hospitals. But still, critical thinking goes much, much beyond. I read one book of Dr. Atul Gawande. He has written 3 books. But I read one of his books, that is Checklist Manifesto. A wonderful book. He is bringing Boeing example into the OT, operation theatre. So understand the Boeing example. So you are bringing example from other discipline to your operation theatre. How do you bring that? Unless and until you develop your mind, you train your mind, you will not be able to get it. Promoting multilingualism and the power of language. I need not tell you, there is a research. More the number of languages you learn, your brain functions better than learning only through 2 languages. Because multiple languages brings multiple cultures and multiple wisdoms which you can get from those different languages. Very many languages. Because their experiences, their difficulties are different, and how are they approaching towards the problem may give a solution to your problem which you are facing. In statistics, we teach this. In decision theory, we teach this. How different people's perspective can be brought together and find a solution to a new problem which only one discipline is not able to solve. There comes this multidisciplinarity, and that is what has to be integrated when they are talking about this. Formative assessment is, what is formative assessment? That has to come through reflection. And I always believe in, not in summative, but in formative evaluation, which is reflection based, to which in today's world, the researcher calls it as assessment as learning, where you are empowering them. Extensive use of technology. I need not tell you, you are using the technology every day. If you are in physiotherapy or nursing or anywhere, you are using the technology, and technology is developing every day. There is one center in IIT Mumbai. Of course, some of the people are working with them. Those who are creating the products at low cost, working with doctors. If you have not visited that center, you go and then visit what kind of products which they are developing. Because you understand the human body and the problems related with the human body more than an engineer. But the engineer understands technology more than you. But unless and until there is a marriage between the two, you will not be able to. And then the third is design. Say engineer is giving the technique, the technology, designer is giving the experience, which is called as UI UX, user interface and user experience. That is what we are talking. So alone doctors or physiotherapists will not be able to achieve. There comes this interdisciplinarity and multidisciplinarity and transdisciplinarity approaches. And everybody, I give an example that everybody doesn't want to become a doctor. In 1996, my sir who taught me, his son wanted to, he did MBBS and then he came first in his MBBS degree and got a gold medal. And then after doing MBBS, he said, I want to do research. I don't want to do post-graduation. I just don't want to do. And I don't want to practice. But I want to go into research. And in 1996, the mentality of parents, even though we were teachers, is no, you should do post-graduation and they do this and do that and start your practice or work in the government hospitals and do and that. Same thing. So I told sir that my vice chancellor is a doctor and renowned doctor, Dr. Snehalata Deshmukh, who was Dean of Science Medical College. I brought him to her and said, you meet and then ask what he wants to do, is worth doing or not. So she also gave two options, that if you go this way, you will not be able to come back, but you will go this way, then you can anytime come in your life and then do this research. But he insisted, sorry, I just want to do research, research and research. So we need to understand what child wants to do, but those days that kind of research which he has done in US was not available even in today. So we lack in the research, not only in medical sciences or health sciences, but we lack in research in all others. And I always say, the day before yesterday, when I was attending international conference, I said that when I was browsing the data, the US is 45% research is on life sciences. We are not doing that. Ours is only 5 to 7%. So they have a plan of next 25 to 50 years and they know what is going to happen. How do we bring this into our education system? You need to think from that perspective, how do you bring and how do you inculcate research attitude while teaching your MBBS degree without compromising what you are doing? So you need to understand the extensive use of technology. Then they're talking about respect for diversity and respect for the local context, which always, what is wrong? We sometimes say that, no, this is not applicable. Don't worry, NEP 2020 is not applicable to you because it is not included, your discipline is not included. But when you talk of the principles, principles are same, principles are useful. Now, how do you use those principles to change your curriculum? Then full equity and inclusion, everybody talks about it. Then synergy in curriculum across all levels of education. All levels of education, school education, child education, higher education, and beyond that. And that is what I talked about, synergy between the two. And therefore, there has to be interaction between the people, those who are offering child education, then middle school, high school, and higher education. There has to be continuous interaction. Today, we don't see that kind of interaction. Unless and until we have the interaction, we will not have the continuity. Don't know what they are doing. And they don't know what we are doing. And therefore, the gap is widening because communication has gone down. And therefore, the policy which should be created for health sciences, they should keep this in mind. Day before yesterday, with whom I traveled, he was telling me, my son is in 7th standard and he is too much into mathematics. And he has learned the mathematics which 12th standard students study. Gone are the days we were not knowing even when we were 16 years or 20 years what needs to be done in our life. They are deep into it. They are deep into it. And therefore, the kind of young people which are coming to us, we need to understand, we need to capture their intelligence, and we need to capture. They are decided, some of them. And medical education, health sciences education, and the engineering education, we see that children are little more intelligent or than the other. Generally, I am talking generally. Though there are some of the fields where they are very, very creative and very, very different. Children are also coming nowadays. But mostly, those who get higher marks, those who get better marks in the competitive examination, they are given admission. Then teachers and faculty as the heart of learning process. If they are the heart of the learning process, then what needs to be done? Stop teaching. Stop teaching. Creating experiences around the content is important. That is our role. How do you create experiences around the content? How do we empower them to take charge of learning through these experiences? And these experiences has to be inter-multidisciplinary approach. Those experiences needs to be created in the classroom. And this is true for any kind of sciences. That is what needs to be brought in. Outstanding research. I have talked about research. And we need to increase our research. We need to create new and newer products with the help of other institutions. And I see that the institutions like this, MGM, and many institutions, because some people are attending online also, in your own institutions, you need to create that kind of ecosystem. That is what the new education policy 2020 is talking about. Though there are many challenges to implement that. That is at a very, very different level. Very different level that those needs to be addressed. But this is not the forum where I should talk about it. I always talk about it because I feel unless and until you remove the issues which are there, we will not be able to achieve what NEP 2020 wants to achieve. And therefore, these are some of the principles which we need to, and the last principle which they are talking about, continuous review. When I read Alvin Toffler's book, Alvin Toffler said that no organization progresses and develops unless and until there are some people who are always dissatisfied with whatever is going on in their organization. And now, when he says in a positive sense. And therefore, generally, in our system of higher education, whenever we say that you do this, do that, they say, we have already done it, nothing new in this. But then why don't you ask a question which I asked myself 3 days back when I visited one of the university in Indonesia? Indonesia, we don't look at Indonesia or countries like this. I'm just giving an example. We always look at the West. I visited the university whose QS ranking, world QS ranking is 231. And I had some vice chancellors with me, which they were talking before, we are doing this, we are doing this, we are great, we have done this. And when we visited that institute, university, established in 1949, their world QS rank is 231. Tell me which institute in India is having that rank? Not even our IISC, Indian Institute of Science, or Indian medical, whatever medical colleges which we have, or whatever health sciences colleges we have, or universities we have. Do we have that kind of rank? No. Second university I visited, rank is 235 in the entire world. Yet we don't have that kind of rank. Third university, they gave us a presentation. See, they are creating the animation films for Bollywood. Bollywood. University in Indonesia. What is their program? Program is first year they are teaching, that's it. For a 3-year degree program, only in the first year they are teaching. From the second year, all the students are interns of the companies in Bollywood, those who are creating the films. So they are not paying the fees, but they are getting money and creating those films, and wonderful international quality films in animation they are creating. That is what is expected out of new education policy. Of course, core of your discipline should not be compromised, which NEP also doesn't talk about it. The core, whatever core, you cannot and you should not. Otherwise, you are not going to get the basic knowledge of your discipline. But as physics has grown after 1905, if the health sciences has to grow, then you need to have that kind of perspective towards that. That is known as, in our philosophy, when we are talking about 5 koshas, the 4th kosha is Vigyanmay kosha. And Vigyanmay kosh is not Gyanmay kosh. Vigyanmay kosh is different from Gyanmay kosh, which they are talking about the difference between thought and awareness of thought. Awareness of thought will come from interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary approach and transdisciplinary perspective. That is what needs to be brought in any kind of education, whether it is health sciences or anything. That is what the gist of new education policy I wanted to communicate to you. Of course, there are China also has changed. What are they doing? What kind of education which they are bringing? What are their objectives that needs to be understood in whatever we are doing? In the morning I was writing something, what China is doing. ABC, somebody asked me ABC, what is ABC and how they are. ABC is nothing but they have created a bank where you can put your credit as you put your money. In a simple language, I tell you, every university was having the credit bank, but with themselves only. See, if I have earned credit, means what? I have done one course, I have passed it, and therefore I have earned credit. Even though the word credit was not used in our kind of universities, but you have already earned, and that is written in the TR, transcript record. That is there with the university. Now what they have done is, don't think that they are using ABC and therefore it is something very difficult. No. They have created a digital bank where you can keep your credit, whatever you have earned, into that bank, which is available digitally to anybody. For example, you're going from one university to another university, then that university will ask you the transcript record. And then you go and then give it from your university's bank, because he has passed that examination, he has cleared that exam. And then they will see, yes, the university has given. Now they don't have to go here and there. It is digitally available. Academic bank of credit digitally available. Nothing else. So don't think that it is something different. Don't worry about that. Those credits will be deposited into the bank, which is called as academic bank of credit. We get the credit in the banks, financial credits. Now this is academic bank, not a financial bank. That's it. Don't worry about the terminology. It is just the terminology which was happening earlier, but within your institute, now it will happen digitally, and it will be available to anybody and everybody. So, just 1 minute I will take and then stop. What I wrote in the morning is, China, Egypt, and many other countries. China, they have changed recently in 8 to 9 years. 3 things which they are doing. One is they are saying university should strengthen the translation of medical innovations into national policies and clinical practices. Number 1. So see, they are talking about nation. Second, global health in medical education should be more prominent. Second thing. Third is, humanity should always be emphasized as a core value for health professionals, where they are talking about emerging infectious diseases, they are talking about aging population, etc. And therefore they are talking about this, the narrative medicine which I talked about, the narrative medicine which is done in US, that kind of qualitative narrative medicine I am talking about. Now AI, machine learning, robotics, this is going to happen. China developed one robot named, the pronunciations are very difficult in China, Xiaoyi, developed by Tsinghua University, one of the best top-ranked university, and a company, iFlyTech Company Limited. And the robot appeared in the examination of medical education, and he has got 456 marks out of 500, which is 96 points above than the minimum passing mark. So technology is going to come. Technology is going to be helpful as a tool to you, but you need to know what is going to happen in 10 years and 15 years and 20 years. I always say in my university nowadays, and wherever I go, when a student is joining your institute for 4 years, when he joins, he and you both doesn't know whether whatever you are teaching will be applicable after he graduates. And therefore, what kind of learner you are going to create, for that, what kind of education policy which you need to create. Some of the principles which has been told in the new education policy, which I have narrated, of course, I have not gone word by word of new education policy. But the principles are the most important, because you have diverse kind of institution, diverse kind of environment, and diverse kind of problems where you will have to tweak your curriculum or teaching learning process according to the need of that local region. Local is global as well as local region. That is how one should look at the new education policy. Of course, this new education policy is not applicable for health sciences, as I have said. Otherwise, you will ask me question from that point of view. Of course, in your field, a lot of discussion is already going on. But the most important thing is, how do we bring this approach towards education in your field? That is what I just wanted to communicate. And I must thank Prerna for bringing me here. And because when I meet Ankush Rao Kadamji and Jadhavji, so I always feel happy, because if they would not have created an opportunity by establishing the university or establishing the colleges, many of Marathwada children would not have got educated. Because I know that if I would not have got the fee concession, I would not have become the Vice Chancellor. They have created the opportunity in this region, and therefore I always feel better to come to this institute. So thank you, Prerna, for giving me an opportunity to come here again. And I must thank all of you, and in English and in any language, we feel that the words are similar, but they are not. And therefore, at the same time, I thank all the participants for listening to me or hearing to me. Both are different. Hearing is, it goes here and it comes out from here. But listening, at least it goes from here or here, somewhere, whatever has happened. So thank you very much. And my best wishes to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom and knowledge. Value-based education aims at training the student to face the outer world with right attitude and values. It is a process of overall personality development of a student. It includes character development, personality development, citizenship development, and spiritual development. To accent us with sustainable value-based education system in NEP, we have a renowned personality amongst us today, Dr. Praveen Shingare, sir. Sir is currently functioning as Pro-Chancellor at Krishna Karad Institute of Medical Sciences, Karad. After graduation from Government Medical College, Meerut, Sir has completed post-graduation from Swami Ramanand Tirtha Rural Medical College, Ambezove. After a successful teaching career, Sir has entered into administration. During his long and distinguished career, Sir has worked in various capacities in Mumbai University, MUHS Nashik, North Maharashtra University, Jalgaon, Dr. D.Y. Patil Deemed University, Mumbai, as a Controller of Examination, Dean, Faculty of Medicine, Senate Member, Management of Council Member, Academic Council Member, Board of Examination Member, Chairman, Board of Studies, etc. Sir has also been a President of Maharashtra Nursing Council, President of Occupational and Physiotherapy Council of Maharashtra, Chairman of Maharashtra Paramedical Council, Member of Acupuncture Council of Maharashtra, Director of Maharashtra Council, State Board of Nursing and Paramedical Education. Sir has been awarded for Best Research Paper Prize by Staff Scientific Society of Krishna Institute of Medical Sciences, Karad. Sir was the recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award by Sioux Association, Mumbai. We are fortunate to have such an illustrious and renowned personality amongst us. May I take the privilege to call upon Dr. Praveen Shingare, sir, to exemplify us with NEP, a sustainable value-based education system. Over to you, sir.
slide forward here, na? Here forward here. Backward here. This is pointer here. Honorable Chancellor, Vice Chairman of the Trust, Honorable Vice Chancellors, and dear delegates. I am here to discuss about the national education policy related to sustainable value-based education. Just 3-4 minutes on the each topic, which will be related to the value-based education. Friends, the national education policy has mentioned some of the principles, and the last word of the principle says a candidate with sound values. So that is how the policy itself defines the values and includes the value. And also, as sir has already said, the Indian system that is given more importance here. These are all page numbers in the policy. And this is the important part of the policy, creative potential of the individual. See, we have worked as a teacher for more than 25 years. I was also a teacher. My role as a teacher for 25 years, whether the fellow remembers or not, come on, stand up. Tell me the 5 reasons of cough. Tell me the 5 reasons of chest pain. Tell me this, that. So that is how our era was. The remembering, writing, answering. No. It says now creative potential. So forget about the memory part. Give importance apart from memory, the other factors to, in the teaching and learning. The professional education, even though described as a very small part in the policy, maybe less than 1 or 2 pages, still, as sir has said, that's the general principles of the national education policy. They are all overall applied to our education now. See, this is the important part. The policies aim to develop a competent workforce. We are not going to create the nurses without having the competency in giving the nursing therapy to the patient. We are not interested in creating large number of physiotherapists. Some of the physiotherapists may not be knowing how to give the massage or how to give the respiratory therapy or the cardiovascular therapy. So that practical aspect must be taught and must be seen whether he is able to do that or not. Up till now, we were simply saying, no, write this paper, write that paper, write these reasons, write the reasons of 5 reasons of shoulder pain and 6 reasons of knee pain and this and that. This is what the topic was. So no, it is the creative workforce that is the main target of the our nursing and the physiotherapy, and future generation is another word. Friend, I said I was a teacher, always I was saying, oh, what will happen to you? I was telling to the student, you don't know this? What will happen to you? No. What I have to say now, what will happen to the nation? And that is what the policy says. The future generation, the workforce. So productive contribution, these are all, it's not for self or earning. It is for the general public also. As sir has already covered this, that these are the degree courses, postgraduate degree courses, undergraduate, postgraduate. For them, the national education policy is not directly applied, but it is applied through, it has to be followed by, through the council, the various councils. These are all are related to the council. Here, if you see in this, there is nothing like physiotherapy. Rest all courses are shown, but nothing like the physiotherapy here. So you will, this will indicate that the policy is applicable to the physiotherapy. But friends, recently the Parliament of Government of India passed the Act, Paramedical Council Act, and that council act that includes the physiotherapy and other paramedical courses also. Probably that council will be established soon because act is passed. Now we are waiting for the gazette notification of that council, and once that council is established, probably today physiotherapy is not here, but tomorrow physiotherapy may be here in this group. However, Maharashtra was far ahead, maybe 10 to 15 years before the Maharashtra Physiotherapy Occupational Therapy Council was established. It functioned well for 10 years, but recently when this parliament has passed the act, the Physiotherapy Council of Maharashtra is dissolved now. What is the today's status? Today's status is the administrator is appointed on that council, and they are waiting for the gazette notification of the Central Council, Central Paramedical Council, which will also cover not only physiotherapy, it will also cover the X-ray technician, CT technician, MRI technician, and rest all, dialysis technician, and rest all paramedical courses. And then probably through this council, the national education policy will be implemented to our courses. Friend, this is the red signal already published by the Act of Parliament, but most of the people, they are not aware about this. What is this? This is an act. It was a bill, now act. Act since 4 years. And what this act says, this act says the government of India has a power, or the National Medical Commission has a power to grant license to any person, and that license is called as a mid-level medical practice license. Mid-level medical practice license. To whom? What will be his qualification? Nothing mentioned. Nothing mentioned. So to anybody, even to nurses, to the physiotherapists, to the dentists, to the paramedical, to anybody, now the government of India will give the license. Forget about your pathy. You can practice the allopathy. This is what the act says. I'm not saying this. This is the act says. Up till now, not yet implemented, but strong weapon the government of India has kept with them through this act. So these people to whom the National Medical Commission or Government of India or Health Department of Government of India will give the license without looking to the qualification. They can practice the modern medicine. This word is there in the act. Can prescribe specified medicine independently. A dentist will be allowed to practice, a nurse will be allowed to practice, everybody, medical, paramedical will practice primary and preventive, can practice other cases under supervision, means more than the primary cases, he can even practice the secondary cases, but with some supervision and qualification not yet decided by the National Commission. This is going to create a major problem, or most of the paramedics will now call themselves as a doctor once they are getting this type of license. This is the change. They say this is because of the national education policies. Why? It is because previously, 50 years before, when we were children, in our own small village, there were many therapists. If there is a dislocation of the hand, they were going to that fellow who was first standard pass or even not knowing anything ABCD. And then he was able to fit the hand. He was able to fit the, or he was able to give some leaves, the churnas, something like that. And the people were very happy. So why not to bring that therapy again back for the help of the patient? I think probably with that intention, the ancient Indian knowledge, that is word repeatedly used in the national education policy. Repeatedly. It is said that it must be brought back. Today, national, and this is another part of that act passed by Parliament. What that act says? Act says that the medical education MBBS course must have the Ayush interface, irrespective whether the doctors they want or not, irrespective whether the National Medical Commission wants or not, irrespective whether the Indian Medical Association wants or not. This is what the Parliament has passed, that Ayush will be incorporated. And they have given the methodology, how Ayush will be incorporated into the medical curriculum, physiotherapy curriculum, nursing curriculum. Everywhere now Ayush is coming. And how they will incorporate? They have given the procedure that there is a joint committee of all three councils. Number 1, Homeopathy Council. Number 2, Ayurveda Council. Number 3, National Medical Council. In these 3-member committee, if they approve some specific module, course, program, therapy, then it will be introduced in the UG and PG curriculum. And in this 3-member committee, the National Medical Commission chairman, if says no, still 2 people, that homeopathy chairman and the Ayurveda chairman, if they say no, this has to be there in the medical curriculum, this has to be there in the physiotherapy curriculum, the National Medical Commission chairman has to blindly follow that. So this is how to, and this is what the policy says, that encourage the Indian tradition system. Add that, because today there is a great resistance from Indian Medical Association as well as National Medical Commission, but this provision is already there in the Act of the Parliament, which is already passed and it is implemented, friends. And this module will be approved by the majority vote, means 2 versus 1. One is National Medical, it is going to oppose to that. So that is how now the Indian system will be coming as a national education policy. Friends, National Medical Commission, this education policy describes at various places that this has to be done, that has to be done, etc. This is the list, some of the points where this has to be done, that has to be done, and this is not yet done. In spite of 2020, this is the 3rd year, so we have to wait till all these points are clear, then only we can say how we can go ahead with this policy. For example, they have said in the policy at 14.4.1 that the steps will be taken by state government A to H, even the steps will be taken by central government A to H, steps to be taken by the various universities A to M. This is a big list of this. And then the financial assistance will be provided, how, whom, etc., not clear, but this clause mentions a National Research Foundation will be established. Funding will be through that, but that is not established. Like that, national mission will be established for mentoring. So we have to wait for all these decisions to be taken by the Human Resource Department or the Education Department, and then only we will get the clear idea about the further steps to be taken in the implementation of the national education policy. Now what is this value? Now, friend, we were teaching all these topics 1 to except 3rd. Up till now, 3rd bullet here, that was not given much importance, because all these 3rd part we learn from our culture, from our family, from the society. But now they have said, apart from rest all, education, now add this number 3, that is a value education. And so we have to teach to the students this value education as a part of our routine teaching. Now, to develop the sustainable value, what we should have, the education should address to all these. Now, up till now, what we were doing, 25 years I said I was a teacher, I was concentrating only academic of the student, academic of my subject, about the examination. But now they said, no, this is only one part. Rest all you have to concentrate on all these aspects, and you have to address the aspect. Address the aspect means discuss with him, teach to him, see that he is engaged there, see that he is looking to that aspect. So also teachers should concentrate on this, or these all topics should be there, and not only the academics, which we previous teachers, which we did for many, many years. So understand the needs of the students and for the comprehensive approach. So academic is not the only now the topic to be taught by a teacher. Apart from academic, the National Education Policy says that you have to address, now how to address, etc., that every teacher has to decide looking to the student's approach or student's nature, etc. These are all values which they have mentioned. This is half the list of values. Even more than that, the list you will find at various places in the National Education Policy. Probably every page there is one value which they have mentioned by this way or that way in the booklet of the National Education Policy. Now, quality education. Now this UN, they have published the 17 goals. Previously, the goals, the number was different, and our Sustainable Development Goal. The fourth one, which the UN has published, Department of Economics and Social Affairs, and the fourth is so first is of course no poverty, zero hunger, good health, quality education. So when the UN has published this quality, what was the previous goal then? Quality education is the today's UN goal, United Nations goal. What was the previous? Previous education was only education. What was 20 years before? 20 years before, the UN was saying the primary education. So like that. Again, 40 years before, the UN was saying the pre-primary education. So that is how gradually UN is also evolving and adding more and more sustainable development. To sustain, the goals are now increasing. For example, when it was education, education. Now I will tell you the story of my father and grandfather. For first, second, third standard, they were in the rural area. And from fourth, fifth, sixth, for the seventh board examination, they have to go to the taluka place. Below taluka, no facility. Ankush Rawji, मी मराठवाड्यातला example सांगतोय की for seventh board examination, people have to go to taluka. And for 10th examination, people have to go to district place. And after 10th or matric examination, my father's and grandfather, from district place for college education, they have to come to Aurangabad. This was the headquarter. So that is how the graduate education 50 years before 60 was available only in the Aurangabad and at no district place. So this is how the education is evolved. Now education-wise, the UN says now we have achieved sufficient level. And now what they say, they are saying not only education, now provide the quality education. So this quality education, now this National Medical Commission, the education policy also says, now it's not the education which is important, it is the quality education. So improve the quality of the education. And that improvement should be through teacher and through the institution and through the university. These are all up to 1 to 6 I have mentioned here, remaining I dropped. And these are the last three declared by the UNO as the Sustainable Development Goals. Do you know SDG? This is a common question in MPSC examination. In civil service, if you are going, this is a very common question. Do you know UDG, Universal Development Goal? Can you name 1, 2, 3, etc., etc.? This is sustainability that continues throughout the life, and these are all three types. That the human sustainability, economical sustainability, and well-being. Generation for well-being. Friends, previously it was the education to the student, but now it is the education for well-being. Now why? What is education and what is education for well-being? Because after giving education for many, many years, we are producing intellectuals, but they all are diseased people, suffering from diabetes, suffering from hypertension, suffering from this problem. So output is reduced. Reduce, the productivity is reduced. It is because they are not well-being. Always competition, running here, running there, tension and blood pressure, tension and diabetes. So it is not to give more knowledge. It is not to produce intellectuals. It is to produce the well-being intellectuals. So add that part. Otherwise, India is a capital of disease people. We are saying that we have crossed the China. Now China is number 2. We are number 1. Or what number 1? It is only in the numerically we are number 1, not the quality-wise. Our previous speaker, he has explained about the China, what they have done, etc. So that is a quality-wise. Now, we have only quantity-wise, not the quality-wise, because maximum drugs utilization in the world is in India. Maximum drug utilization, pharmacy, it is in India because more disease people are there. So, policy says that not to produce intellectuals, but well-being intellectuals, well-being generation, having a good health. Now, new generation teach at young age. This is from the policy. Importance of doing what is right. And at latter age, expand this. Teach them what is cheating. Teach them what is violence. Teach them what is... This is from policy. This is from policy. In the young age, don't teach them cheating, violence. But when they, in the latter age, high school, college, teach them what is cheating. How you will get cheated. Online fraud. Your bank account will be transferred. So you teach them how people are cheating, what is cheating, what is this plagiarism, etc. So these all are values. So values is not that we are there for good value. We are also there to teach them what is bad. So what is good and what is bad. And now the policy says that the 64 kalas that you bring back to the colleges and give importance to that, Indian education has to be brought, and this is exactly required for 21st century in India. This is clause number 11.1 says that Indian future generation needs 64 kalas. Now, how this, that, etc., I'm not understanding unless all details are cleared, and this may not be that to the health education. The personality development, shaping the future, and knowing what is desirable. See, this is not what is good and what is bad. This is what is desirable and what is undesirable for yourself. Something which is undesirable for one may be desirable for the other. So that is how the culture, future-wise, profession-wise, what you should become and what others should. After becoming MBBS, one will say, I will open a dispensary. Other will say, no, it is not desirable for me. I should go for post-graduation. Third person will say, no, it is not desirable for me. It is undesirable. I should go in research. So like that, every individual-wise, as per the policy, we have to see what is desirable, what is the undesirable thing. And policy is saying that we are the compass. You are in the middle of the sea. Not you can't identify the side direction. But so policy is like a compass. They will guide you, only guide you, not decide the way. The teacher role is also changing by the principles of the policy. The teacher should observe the emotional reactions. So when we are asking a question to the student, he is unable to answer, then we have to see the face, we have to read the face. What is seen on the face? When we scold the student, when we fire the student, you see on his face. Some will be like arrogant face. Some will feel, oh no, I'm really sorry. Something like that. So that understanding of the feeling of the student, that also you should concentrate. See, the one good thing for MGM people, that probably there will be restriction for transferring from Aurangabad Medical College to Navi Mumbai Medical College, because the policy says that the excessive transfer should be restricted, and teacher, the administrative job, like the Rita is here, IQSC in preparation of this, every teacher says, sir, this is overburden, etc. So reduce the non-academic work, reduce the administrative work, so that they can concentrate on the student's career. The legacy should be nurtured of the Indian, and re-establish the teacher as the most respected. Today, if you can't do anything in the society, then become a master. That is how the teacher is treated nowadays. So what the policy says, no, teacher must be respected. They should get back the dignity which previously the Indian culture was having. The teacher should also identify slow learner, and it is not looking to the result, that how many pass and how many fail. No, you go beyond that, the slow learner and advanced learner, and implement the methods for teaching them also. The teacher should also use the variety of simply coming and delivering a lecture and going. No, that is not now that the policy says all methods must be implemented of teaching by every teacher in every subject, because this methodology that gives more knowledge to the student, more grasping by the student. If you change the method, it's not that the blackboard and chalk, they have gone. No, nothing like that. But others also should be included in that methodology. The higher education institution should see that the students go in community. You are providing a good environment to in the institution, and the values should be, means the Independence Day should be celebrated. The now the teacher should see in the college whether the people are voting or not. The maximum non-voting is by young generation in India. Everywhere 40% voting, 50% voting. And if you see who are non-voters, they are mostly the young generation and mostly in the cities. Rural area, more and more voters. So this means the citizenship values not inculcated. Constitutional values, we fail to implement that or fail to explain to the student what is your obligations towards the Constitution. So all these values should be included in our teaching. The curriculum changes should also be there. It is not, so first year of my service as a teacher and 21st year of my service as a teacher, I was teaching same syllabus. No change in the syllabus because the change was within the jurisdiction of the university or the council and there are no messages. Now they are saying that no, it has to be changed every 3 years, at least 5%, 10% maximum, 20% change should be there. I think this part is already covered by the sir. The curriculum should also include about the problems. It is not that what the Delhi is saying or what the government of India is saying or what the National Medical Commission is saying that we should teach here. No. What are the local problems? So how to tackle that? That we have to include in our syllabus, the regional problems, the global problems, and also see what are the outcomes. Outcomes we were not measuring, we were simply testing about the recall knowledge of the students. The higher education should provide all these facilities so that the good values are inculcated in the students about the startups and incubation and many other points they have mentioned in the policy. The higher education should provide the teaching and learning facilities like skill lab and ICT tool and logbook and e-content and e-courses, etc. The higher education should also provide all these things in the campus so that the student don't have to go outside and he will feel comfortable there. He can spare more time for other activities, extracurricular activities, etc. These are all facilities which the college should see. When I was in the college, I have to walk for 1 kilometer to reach to the post office. And it was a frequent requirement of the post office. Today, nobody requires a post office. The student progression, we should also see whether how many students from our institution, they appeared for the competitive examination, how many became IAS, how many became the civil service exam. That is also the output. And that also, it is not that how many got the degrees, how many got the PhDs. That is how we see now. No, beyond that, how many were selected in national level, how many were selected, forget about the service, but selected in the international competition, selected, or even before that I can say how many participated at the test. Forget about the result of the test. How many participated, whether all eligible or participate. Means some of the students may be afraid to appear for the examination. So they should develop that daring, that okay, forget, I may fail, but I have to appear and I have to test my own knowledge there. These are all the environment which the higher education should provide. If a foreigner is studying in our institution, you ask him about the flag of his country, you try to put that flag somewhere, you ask about the Independence Day of his country, you at least call him and give a bouquet that today is the Independence Day of your country, something like that. That is the inclusive atmosphere of that. Even if somebody is from Kerala studying here, his Pongal is celebrated. So on that day you can wish to that fellow. So that is how the atmosphere, and that is the requirement of the values there. The sensitization to the various duties and responsibilities. The social media, the institution should also use. Now you all are using, but what about the institution? What about the teacher? Whether the teacher has a group of students, the WhatsApp group of students, whether he is sending some messages to them, giving some information, telling them that this and this notification has published by the Public Service Commission, this and this notification is published by the Union Public Commission. This is what the industry has published this, and there is opportunity for you. Whether teacher is telling this to, but he himself don't know. No, but this is what now the role is there, that the social media must be brought back, and the teacher and the university and the institution should help the students to communicate for all this good news for the future of the students. So in short, friends, I would say the teacher, probably your services may not be required by the institution. The sir has already said the computer has passed in the examination. So tomorrow, instead of appointing a faculty, we will go for a appointment of a robo, not the faculty. What is the need of you? Your need, because the same job, if a robo is doing, so robo will be your future teacher, something like that. So that is the technology will take over the job of many, many people. The personal improvement, and that is the reason, if you want that your service should continue, then see that you improve yourself, improve in your output, improve in your efforts. The student should appreciate you. Just once, one comment I am making you. If student is attending the lecture of a teacher for attendance, not to be detained, for eligibility to appear for the examination, I always say he is a hopeless teacher, because students are appearing just for attendance. So students should attend the lecture for the knowledge. He is a good teacher. So tomorrow probably we will remove all such teachers where the student can't understand anything and is forcing them to attend because of the answer, I will detain you, this, that, etc. This policy is going to be vanished, friends, once this national, this education policy will be implemented. So adapt that, this is what we say, the adapt the change. The holistic development is there. Good human being. This is the last slide, friends. This is what the previous national education policy was concentrating, and this is what the new national education policy is concentrating on, the principles that provide, made available, etc. Now it is equitable. The choice-based, the sir has already explained, exit, entry, etc. So these are, in short, the major changes between the previous policies. And the first change which I have mentioned in different color is the previous policies were saying the individual development, and the new policy is saying that the national development. I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to discuss some of my views with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable words. Curriculum development is a process which is an institution or the instructor designs or creates a plan for a course of program. Furthermore, it is not a stagnant process and includes continuous improvement wherein the content is reviewed, revised, and updated according to the needs and demands of the current society. To appraise us with synergy in curriculum development and role of health sciences institutions in alignment of NEP, we have a prestigious personality in midst of us all. Dr. Shashank Darvi sir is an eminent educationist with a vast administrative experience of more than 41 years, at present working as Vice Chancellor of MGM Institute of Medical Sciences, Navi Mumbai. He is also a member of Board of Management at MGM University. Dr. Homi Bhabha State University, Mumbai. He is a member of Academic Council of Dr. D.Y. Patil University, Pune. He is a NAC assessor. Sir is community medicine specialist, having worked in government medical colleges of Maharashtra from assistant professor to dean. Sir has huge experience of working on statutory bodies. Sir was the member of Board of Studies, Faculty of Medicine, Academic Council, Management of Council, Senate of MUHS, Nashik, a member of Medical Council of India, and worked on Executive Council of MCI. Sir has worked as a principal investigator for the use of pentavalent vaccine in multicentric study of Serum Institute of Pune. Sir has published research articles in national and international journal. Sir is the winner of Shri Tani Danukar Best Teacher Award of MUHS Nashik. Sir has also won the Rajiv Gandhi Education Excellence Award for outstanding achievements in chosen field of activity, New Delhi. May I take the honor to call upon Dr. Shashank Darvi sir to illuminate on synergy in curriculum development and role of health sciences institution in alignment of NEP. Over to you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now this one-day national conference Honorable Chancellor Sri Ankush Rauji Kadam of MGM University, Aurangabad, Honorable Vice Chairman MGM Trust Dr. P.M. Jadhav sir, Honorable Dr. Rajan Velukar sir, the Vice Chancellors of number of universities and highly eminent educationists of the country, Honorable Pro-Chancellor Dr. Shingare sir, former Director of Medical Education and Research, Government of Maharashtra, all organizers, Dalvi Madam, Wrinkle Madam, Dr. Babu, and all the faculty members and all the participants of nursing, physiotherapy, and some medical faculty members also who have joined for this particular conference. Really, this is the academic feast. After a very lucid presentation by Dr. Rajan Velukar sir regarding the underlying principles of NEP 2020, forceful presentation on a difficult topic, that is the value-based education by Dr. Shingare sir. Now the topic which is with me is, there are two components of the topic. The one that is synergy in curriculum development. Also there is the motto of the conference, vision and envision in the health education. Vision, what we see, envision, what we foresee, what we forecast. So all that is the motto of this particular conference, what exactly is happening in the future. So synergy in curriculum development is the one part of the presentation which I am going to sharing with you. And the second part is the role of health science institutions in alignment of NEP 2020. As already this has been mentioned, that whether NEP 2020 is applicable to the health science institutes or not, the law council and the other councils, those are not in picture with this and all that. So that will be the second part of my presentation. Now coming to the first part of the presentation, synergy in curriculum development. Synergy means activeness, forcefulness, more things. The curriculum should be what exactly the UN goal development, what Dr. Shingare sir mentioned, that previously it was just education, now it is the quality education, and in future I think the UN goal will be empowering education. Not only quality education, empowering education. So synergy is to be put into the curriculum development of the various disciplines. Now, I will take one by one the medical education, the nursing education, the physiotherapy education. Also, I will touch on the dental education, as these are the health science education, the various common programs which are also available with our university. Previously, the medical education is governed by the policy, that is Graduate Medical Education 1997, which has come into the picture, where this Professional 1, Professional 2, Professional 3, Part 1, Part 2, and all that particular programs, where also the outcomes, the objective, exactly what is to be done, that has been implemented, that has been given. But those have been given and it is left to the universities, to the medical colleges to implement. But if we see the situation at present, it has been totally changed. National Medical Commission has taken total responsibility on implementing medical education in this country to bring uniformity on all MBBS doctors, undergraduate, in their hands. And the medical colleges are given, dictated the orders, what exactly should be the content of each particular topic, each particular subject, what is to be taught, how it is to be taught, how it is to be assessed. So all these, the guidelines are coming from the center. Even the examinations at the end that we will come across. So all this that has been done in the revised National Medical Commission curriculum in 2019, which has come into the force, and where all these things are mentioned. The title is given is competency-based medical education. As such, outcome-based medical education, that is the main word that is used in the national education policy, and outcome-based education throughout the world, at the globe, this particular word is being followed. Not only outcome-based, it is also the competency-based medical education, that the more synergy that has been added to that particular word by giving the title instead of outcome-based education as a competency-based medical education. The most important thing that has been done initially into this particular policy is the training of faculty. All the teachers of all the medical colleges, more than 500 medical colleges, so all the teachers of all medical colleges, whether those are centrally governed, state government, corporation, private, deemed universities, all these medical colleges are taken together, and completely the teachers training program, training of the trainers, the regional centers of the NMC has been activated, and that has been carried out since the beginning of 2019, even if this particular program has started, and that training has been completed in 1.5 years. As such, this training of faculty is one of the most important component in the NEP 2020 also. The same that has been implemented by NMC, not only the teachers at MGM Institute, the main administrator, the core persons, the deans are also trained in this particularly competency-based medical education. Details of curriculum. What should be the part 1, part 2, and part 3. That has been spelled out by NMC. The type of teaching, whether it should be vertical teaching, whether it should be horizontal teaching, how integration is to be carried out, what method of teaching is to be adopted, the various methods that you have learned. Just now you have seen the experiential learning or other types of, that has also been spelled by NMC. So our role, that has been somewhat made very easy by the NMC, giving the ready-made food. By that way, the autonomy, to some extent, that has been diminished. Details of assessment. Details of assessment is also given by NMC. In total, in this particular way, in this particular format, the students are to be assessed at each level. Continuous formative assessment. That is the main feature. What Dr. Rajan Vedukar sir also mentioned, that the assessment at the end, that more than that, what is the continuous formative assessment, and what exactly the student is learning in the class when he is joining, he is working in the hospitals, what exactly the persons are learning, that is important. So at present, the medical education is outcome-based medical education. The blueprints for implementation of competency-based medical education has been devised by various universities. Even during the COVID pandemic also, the deemed universities have been devised. Recently, I have come across with the blueprint for implementation, which has been prepared by Maharashtra University of Health Sciences, Nashik. And I congratulate Dr. Madhuri Kanitkar, Madam, Honorable Vice Chancellor, for the exhaustive effort taken by all the colleges taken together of the Maharashtra state and making this blueprint available. It has been already done by other universities, but at the state like Maharashtra, it was really a gigantic task, and that Herculean task has been completed. The internship monitoring. Now for this internship monitoring, previously internship is looked after as a leisure period in the MBBS curriculum. After 4.5 years, usually the students are taking admission to some class for the entrance exam of the PG, or they are busy with the marriage, or they are busy with other activities. So the internship not necessary that they have to do in the same college. They are taking, there are a number of other hospitals which are also recognized for the internship. So the attendance is more important than the actual internship. The purpose of internship was totally diminished. A lot of thinking, churning in the medical education field happened into the last 2 decades, to the extent that whether the internship is to be removed and scrapped down in total, like that. Now for this, the internship has been, the regulation has come into the force. Now every intern has to do internship in that college only where he is taking the undergraduate education. So 4.5 years plus 1 year, he cannot do internship at any other college. That has been made mandatory. The logbook has also been made, and as per regulation that has been considered as the official document which is certifying the various skills are to be acquired by medical graduate during internship and the certification of those particular skills. For proper implementation, that he should do internship seriously and he should not do the study for the postgraduate entrance examination, the national exit examination at the beginning, after completion of 3rd MBBS, immediately for all clinical subjects, national exit test 1 will be carried out at national level. That will declare the result of the candidate also, pass, fail. The practical examinations will be carried out by the university. And then the same result is used for their PG admissions. So next one and next 2 is the licentiate examination, that after completion of the internship, again they will be subjected to the examination, and after passing that examination, they can do their registration and they can practice. Now, immediately after 2019, though this particular regulation has come into force, COVID pandemic started. So the implementation process that has been delayed, and it has been CBMA curriculum, UG curriculum is applicable throughout the country from 21-22, the batch which has been admitted into the February-March 22, as such due to the COVID admissions were delayed in all 657 medical colleges of the country where the more than 1 lakh seats, MBBS seats are there. The first time, all 3 domains of learning, those have been incorporated. Learning has been given more important rather than teaching. Cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. All these 3 domains of learning are being considered into the curriculum. Previously, the whole stress is on the cognitive domain. So just recall of the facts, what they are reading into the books, they have to reproduce them into the theory paper or while answering the questions like that. But now the affective and the psychomotor, and that will also be tested. And accordingly, the questionnaire and everything, the pattern of examination is being developed. The student, or moreover we can say the learner, should be aware about what exactly the situation in the villages, in the periphery, how the diseases are occurring, how the multifactorial etiology of the disease, how the diseases are spreading, what are the various other factors into that particular family which are exposing that particular family for the disease. The family adoption program. Dr. Shingare sir will be aware that since in the Maharashtra, Ambedogai Medical College, the rural medical college, has adopted, and that is the model, the 3 villages nearby Ambedogai, and those are adopted by the medical college, and since then the family adoption program that is going on. But at number of medical colleges that has been started, now it is nationwide that has been started, and that is to be implemented, and also the logbook has to be developed for that particular program. The yoga, meditation has also been made part. Local language adaptation. Local language adaptation is a very tricky issue. It is accepted that in the local language, we understand better. As majority of you sitting into the hall, Maharashtra, मी जर मराठीतून आपणाला बोललो तर आपणाला लगेच लक्षात यायला लागेल, जास्त समजायला लागेल, मराठीतून समजते, पण इंग्रजीमधून समजत नाही असं काही नाही. आणि बहुतेक all the professional words which are mainly basically in the English, and particularly for the MBBS curriculum, if the students of the class have already taken the education in the convent, right from the nursery, KG, school, they are convent students in the class, and to teach them into the local language, so there is something and rethinking in such issues that is required. For the allied branches where the students are from the mother tongue or the local language, regional language, those are there, it is possible to adopt this, particularly the local language adaptation. Because in practice, there will be some problems with these particular recommendations. Outcome-based education. Foundation course. Immediately after admission to the program, foundation course has been made, that is of 1 month, and a lot of things about the values, what exactly the end product that the country wants as the MBBS graduates, those are being explained, taught to the students. Previously, when the student comes, immediately on the first day of joining, he is in the anatomy department near a dead body. So many of the students were having very different opinion about this particular program. So to change that, their main purpose is to make the people healthy, to cure the disease. So early clinical exposure, integration with the outpatient department, integration with the wards, that has been right from the first MBBS that will be started. The main aim of any particular program is the learning by the students. And if without teacher, if the student can learn, then that is also the best situation. What just now Shingare sir mentioned, if the students are coming just for the sake of attendance, then he is not the good teacher. So similarly, if the student, without the presence of teacher, if he can read, he can see, he can learn, so self-directed learning is also given due importance into this particularly synergy in curriculum developments. The electives, a lot of discussion that has happened, the core and the elective. As far as NMC is concerned, they have not accepted, National Medical Commission has not accepted till today choice-based credit system. But this elective word is in different connotation, that some portion of the clinical postings in the internships, these elective postings are kept, and where these Ayush and all those particular programs which are indicated into the policy, those are kept as elective. Those students are having inclination for this, they can learn. Continuous formative and internal assessment, so the progress of the students can be monitored thoroughly. Supplementary examination, now it has been made feature of the MBBS program, that is after every professional within 6 weeks, the examination can be taken, supplementary examination, and the students who are passing, those can be promoted to the next class. Otherwise, they will be remaining in that year for complete 1 year. The whole program of the MBBS curriculum is to be completed within 9 years. So the total duration of the program that has been now reduced. Previously, there was no such guidelines. Now it is to be completed within the period of 9 years. So as I have mentioned, now each and every aspect from the center, the directions are coming. Implementation guidelines are also given. Which are the competencies the student should achieve at the end of first, second, third professionals? Objectives of those years, teaching learning methods, assessment methods. And the blueprints are prepared by the universities. As mentioned, in the family adoption program, this is the best opportunity for the experiential learning, which is considered as one of the best method of the learning, experiential learning. Primary health care, that can be explained to the learners in a more better way, health awareness in the community, about the community. He will act as a conduit in the population and the healthcare facility. The family adoption, those families which are adopted by the students, if somebody is ill, to refer that particular to the appropriate health facilities and monitor that particular. So all this particular work, and he will be very, very much aware about what are the difficulties are faced by the families in getting that particular person, the patient, cured, all those. He will have practical experience of all those particular things. Arranging diagnostic camps in the schools, population, and particularly for the geriatric population, and geriatric population is the big issue, as India is number 1 in the population. In the geriatric population also it will be number 1 very soon, as the life expectancy in our country is increasing day by day. At the end of the program, after the 4.5 years, the complete report of that particular family health, that is to be submitted and to be entered by the candidate in the logbook. Compulsory rotating medical internship. These regulations have come into 2021, which I have just now mentioned. Previously, UG education different, internship different. Now this all is combined, and internship is part of education process only. And the bar on the license, the permanent registration will not get unless they will pass next 1 and next 2. The ranking of medical colleges will also be dependent on how much the result of that particular college in the next 1 or next 2 examination. Duration and period of internship is 1 year. If due to something that is extended, but anyway, the maximum period within 2 years the student is expected to complete. Place of internship, the same medical college from where the candidate has done the MBBS. Quality of internship will be monitored. Essential practical aspects of the medicine will be taught. Active supervision by the mentor, and logbook is to be maintained. So all this synergy that has been put into the medical education curriculum. Not only this synergy has been put, the monitoring is also going on. Monitoring of medical college and hospital, involvement of IT sectors, whether all the teachers are coming daily or not, that is being monitored. Central biometry system, CCTV surveillance about the OPD and the ward. So all these things are being done from the central level. Central data collection regarding all these procedures. This is what I have mentioned is about the undergraduate education, MBBS. the postgraduate medical education is also not kept aloof. A lot of synergy has been put into the postgraduate programs. 2017, the regulations regarding the competency-based postgraduate medical education, removal of all diplomas. Previously, diploma and degree holder, both were there into the community that we are well aware, DGO, MD, DCH, MD, like that. And the line of demarcation in between this diploma and the degree holder, and what the things that the diploma holder can do and degree holder is required for doing those and the diploma holder can't do. So that line of demarcation was very, very blurred. So to remove all this discrepancy, diplomas have been totally wiped out now. Only the degree programs are existing. As family adoption program is in the UG curriculum, in the postgraduate curriculum, district residency program. So for 3 months, our all postgraduate students will be posted to the district hospitals from each department, and they have to coordinate with the health services of that particular state, and district residency program has become now mandatory. Research component is also strengthened. Research methodology workshop, and particularly for this, the online program on the SWAYAM platform, this research methodology workshop, and that is well accepted by NMC. And it is been expected that the PG students should do poster presentation, paper publication. Now coming to the other health science program. In the dental, also outcome-based education that has come into the force. Stress on field works, the number of satellite centers by DCI that has been increased. They are also trying to bring choice-based credit system where the core subjects and the elective subjects will come into the force. That is in the pipeline. Now coming to the nursing, as most of the participants are from the nursing faculty, so you are surely interested. Now Nursing Council is very, very active council. Academically, it is always one step ahead of NMC. To say this, I have sufficient ground that the outcome-based education they have brought earlier than the NMC. The program outcome they are monitoring, the course outcome they are monitoring, and the choice-based credit system also being implemented from this particular year into the nursing profession. So the core subjects and the electives. This is about the nursing. Now the allied health sciences, just now Dr. Shingare sir has mentioned about this National Commission for Allied and Healthcare Profession Act that has come into the force, and that particular regulation has come into the force. The state level councils has been abolished, and that particular council at national level will be formulated and all that. So what are the programs, the allied programs? Those are there. By definition, it says that excluding medical, that the programs under NMC, excluding dental, the programs under DCI, excluding nursing, the programs under nursing councils, all other programs, whatever those may be, those are under allied health sciences. Particularly in the deemed universities, which are governed by these councils, which are also governed by the University Grant Commission. And UGC has recommended in 2014-15 the choice-based credit system for all the universities. So wherever the council recommendations are not there, if the council recommendations are there, then it is easy. But the councils were defunct or not that much forceful. So all this particular program has brought by the various deemed universities into the choice-based credit system. It is also the UGC recommendation. It is also the want of NAC, for particularly National Assessment and Accreditation Council. In that particularly, there is one particular credit in how many programs you have implemented choice-based credit system. So wherever the council reservation is not there, in all such programs, in the deemed universities particularly, also in some of the other colleges, this choice-based credit system has been implemented into the physiotherapy, also into the biomedical health sciences. Prosthetics and orthotics, it has been not implemented because that Rehabilitation Council of India says that is the annual pattern of the program, where the choice-based credit system is the semester pattern. The choice-based credit system, the advantages are there. What has been exactly mentioned into the national education policy, the underlying principles, the student can take the core subject, that is the main. The liking subjects, those can be taken as the electives. Also, the program can be enriched by adding value-added courses. The one more discipline, that is the biomedical sciences, where all skilled manpower programs, the lab technician, X-ray technician, dialysis technician, cardiac care technologist, perfusion technician, a lot of synergy has been put into the curriculum development of all these particular programs. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has taken this particular task, and they have given what exactly the skills are to be achieved by these particular personals. All these are outcome-based programs. 4 years graduate programs. Previously, those were 3 years. But since last 1 year, those are now 4 years program where the internship has been made compulsory, mandatory for this particular program. Hands-on experience is given a lot of stress in these programs. Choice-based credit system, value-added courses. Now here, the one for NEP 2020 and the medical education, what exactly the relation? Since morning, all the speakers have mentioned this particular point. Now, NMC is out of the scope, National Medical Commission, the Bar Council, these two. But there is something that has been written into the National Education Policy of 2020. So what are those exactly that has been written? The one that has been written, the healthcare education needs to be re-envisioned so that the duration, structure and design of the educational programs need to match the role of requirement that graduate will play. And all this thing is there in what I have just now mentioned, the competency-based medical education. So already what is the vision of NEP 2020? What is the underlying principle and what that has been mentioned in that particular para, 8-9 lines para. So that has been already there and practiced by most of the health professional councils. NEP 2020 has predicted that the people exercise the pluralistic choice to healthcare. That means suppose I am ill, I may go to allopathic doctor, I may go to Ayurvedic doctor, I may go to homeopathic doctor, I may go to Unani doctor. So that is their choice. So all students of allopathic medicine education must have basic understanding of Ayurveda, yoga, naturopathy, Siddha and vice versa. So the same thing regarding the committee and all that, Dr. Shingare sir have explained. The greater emphasis on preventive health care and community medicine. That has been one important part, and that has been there into the UG curriculum, family adoption program, in PG curriculum, district residency program. what exactly these things are expected to come into the future, what has been given into the National Education Policy 2020, the Higher Education Commission of India, which has, and all these National Higher Education Regulatory Councils, General Education Council, Higher Education Council, and National Accreditation Council, all these are expected to come into the future as per NEP 2020. What is at present? If we see the professional education, there are a number of councils are there. All India Council of Technical Education, Agriculture Education, Teacher Education, Rehabilitation Council of India, Rural Institute, State Council of Higher Education, Council of Architecture, Bar Council of India, Pharmacy Council of India, and the number of other councils, the NMC, DCI, INC, all these councils are kept away, the slide number 17, including the previous slide, that is the Bar Council, as well as Pharmacy and RCA, that is Prosthetics Orthotics, away from this particular NEP 2020. If we see the overall, the education sector, including law as well as medical, medical is 7% of total educational sectors, and the law is 2%, so total 9%. So 9% up to maximum, if something is remaining, then up to 10% are not included into the NEP 2020, but all this 10% is also following what exactly the underlying principles of NEP 2020, those have been mentioned. So in that way, that has been included, and role of health science institution in alignment of NEP 2020, that is there. I will not repeat this, but these are the same underlying principles of NEP for alignment, as Sir have beautifully explained, to identify each student, recognizing, identifying, and fostering the unique capabilities of each student. Extensive use of technology, emphasis on creativity, conceptual understanding, and critical thinking. It is expected that no single stream university will be there, but more better than that, what is the multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, and transdisciplinary? Their walls should be porous. Those should not be compartmentalized, because for the betterment of the society, for the betterment of the research, all these faculty should talk with each other and to solve the problems which are identified into the community in a more better way by their knowledge. Promoting multidisciplinary and the power of language to make education system holistic. In the health professional stream particularly, what I feel difficult is the multiple entry and exit point is rather difficult as far as the health professional education, because that is the combined package, and that should be completed within a particular duration. And all this first year, second year, third year, these are not isolated years. So knowledge that has been learned in the first year is also being used into the third year or the fourth year. So there cannot be any compartmentalization, and autonomy, that is also necessary. These are the other principles. Strengthening faculty development program that has been already accepted. Vibrant medical education units. Now even for sanctioning new medical college, in the beginning inspection, with the preclinical department also the medical education unit is the mandatory requirement made by the NMC. Reasonable fee structure and the efforts are being done in that direction. Substantial investment in a strong, vibrant public education system, UG education as well as PG education. The international collaborations. A stress is to be given. Here there are some issues that with the limited scope that has been given, sir, into the policy, that is 100, then later on it has been, UGC has increased that up to 500 top ranking colleges. But more than that, for international collaborations, it is always better for the student convenience, faculty convenience, the nearby countries. And as India is one of the powerful countries in the Southeast Asia region, the SAARC countries, which are nearby us, those should be exempted from this requirement of 100 or 500. And all these, the various universities, because these students are easily amenable, willing to come to the India, even the faculty and all those, and these countries are also having the good universities, and those collaborations need to be allowed. And the research. Underlying principles for NEP for alignment as such, as just now it has been mentioned, so incubation of human values and professional ethics, ATCOM module, since last 6-7 years that is being introduced by MCI, now NMC, student induction program, foundation course, the social responsibility and community engagement is given most important. Now, what is the future of this? It is said that in the policy, within 15 years, the colleges should be autonomous, institutional restructuring and consolidation by 2030, multidisciplinary education and research universities, and only 3 types of universities will exist: research intensive, research and training, teaching intensive. Particularly, though NMC has been, or the medical program, health science programs are kept away from this, but as UGC is governing the various universities, UGC is monitoring indirectly implementation of NEP 2020 by the universities through their annual quality assurance report. That is the plan for multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary. What is the plan of the university? Plan for academic bank of credit. Now, this academic bank of credit, a particular program is very good at some university, then I can go and learn that particular program in that particular university. I will take the example of our university. In the physiotherapy program only, human movement science lab, and the biomechanics. If there are some credit points for this, and if the MGM IHS is having this particular program very well, the students of other university can come and can take education into this particular program, and those credit points of the biomechanics will be counted by the other universities in their degree. So from that particular program. Plan for it, this is very simple terms I tried to explain. Plan for skill developments, plan for appropriate integration of Indian knowledge system, focus on outcome-based education, distance education and online education. Particularly for the health science program, distance education, online education will be up to some extent feasible, not all the time, because the experiential learning as well as hands-on experience is one of the important part of our educational system, maybe nursing, maybe physiotherapy. These are again the same plan for multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, if the university is having the single discipline, how they are making their plans and how those are implementing them. Plan for academic bank of the credit. Most of the universities now, those are being registered for this academic bank of the credit. We are also one of them. Plan for appropriate integration of India knowledge system. As Sir have mentioned, the NMC has also given some guidelines regarding how the Indian knowledge system that can be explained or taught by way of electives they have mentioned at present. focus on outcome-based education. So what exactly at the end the student have learned, that is more important. So the all stress is given during assessment process, during teaching learning programs on this outcome-based education. So the role of health science institutions in alignment of NEP 2020, if we summarize, NEP 2020 is being implemented with the objective of access, equity, inclusivity and quality. Restructuring and consolidation is to be completed by, this is the time period that has been given, 2030, the accredited or not accredited by 2030, because this grading system will abolish by 2030. Regulatory framework suitable for implementation of NEP 2020, that should come as early as possible. It is expected NEP 2020 contributing to an equitable and vibrant, knowledgeable society by providing high quality education to all. India's superpower in the field of education. Coming to the close, the father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi, has given the definition of education as, by education I mean an all-round drawing of the best in child and man in body, mind and spirit. And even in NEP 2020, the definition given of the education is of similar nature, carrying the same interpretation. So thank you very much. Thanks to Davi Madam and all organizers for calling me and having dialogue with you. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom and knowledge. Now I hand over the session to Dr. Vaibhavi Varimbe ma'am, Assistant Professor, MGM School of Physiotherapy.
Thank you, Kalani ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. Our esteemed speakers have made us walk an absolutely enlightening path. Every session has been brainstorming and has left us with evolving concepts. Here we come to the end of our first session. We have many more concepts to grasp, analyze, and brainstorm in the second session. Now I request you all to proceed for lunch through the second exit door on your left. Also, I kindly request you to be back on your seats by 1:45. Thank you so much.